Hi, good morning. It's Councillor Glen, and is this working properly? Yes, it is. Okay, good. Hi, it's Councillor Glen, and I'm live talking to you Saturday morning, December 18th, along the Trans-Canada Trail, somewhere west of Stittsville Main Street. It's really nice to be able to chat with you. This is going to be my last update for a few weeks because of the holidays coming up. I have a lot to talk to you about today and some important things about COVID-19. So thanks for tuning in on Facebook, on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast. Thank you for tuning in. On COVID, things are changing really, really quickly. And I'll give you some information as we have it here on Saturday morning. Really encourage you, though, to keep an eye on ottawapublichealth.ca. Keep an eye on ontario.ca. They're both great sources for what's happening in terms of advice on booster shots, on testing, and on new regulations. You probably heard yesterday the Ottawa Public Health, City of Ottawa, and the Ontario government announced some new restrictions. Most of them come into effect tomorrow, and most of them are focused on limiting gatherings, so smaller gatherings indoors, and some restrictions on places where people gather, places like hockey arenas or movie theaters or churches. Good morning.
Morning.
So just be aware of those regulations and those new restrictions coming in. If you're indoors, wear a mask whenever it's possible and try to limit the amount of people you're meeting with who are outside of your own household. So again, ottawapublichealth.ca and ontario.ca are the places to go for the most up-to-date information. We've had a lot of interest and a lot of questions about rapid tests. I don't have a lot of info yet. Ontario.ca will be your main source for where you can find those rapid tests. I did get an update this morning. It looks like the Walter Baker Centre, which is the recreation center on Terry Fox across from the Swiss Chalet, probably the best way to describe it. They're going to have next week at some point, they're going to have some rapid tests there as a distribution point. So watch for more information in the coming days. Here in Stittsville, we have a temporary testing center at Fringewood Community Center on Mondays and Tuesdays. That'll continue at least until the end of January and all throughout the holidays. It'll be open in the evenings on Mondays and Tuesdays. You can book appointments through the usual portal that you use for booking appointments through ottawapublichealth.ca, but the actual appointment availability, you won't see them online until first thing Monday or first thing Tuesday if you're looking for that. Some really good news is 53% of kids 5 to 11 have now had at least one dose, which is a pretty incredible number. So thank you to kids and parents who've been going out to get that first dose. It's great. And booster shots as well, starting Monday, available to everyone 18 plus. That third dose will be available. So please go out and get vaccinated. If I can, I just want to take a moment to talk about schools. There's a lot of talk about school closures, and obviously this situation is changing very quickly with Omicron. But I just wanted to say I really want to emphasize how important schools are to mental health, to education, to health and well-being in our community. As a counselor, I get to speak with a lot of parents about what's going on, how they're feeling, and anxiety is a word that I hear a lot. Another word that I've heard coming out more and more often is despair, about this idea about potential school closures beyond the holiday break. And I really want to ask people in our community to not treat school closures as something trivial. It's very serious, and we're seeing some detrimental effects on health and well-being in our community. Just look at some of the mental health indicators that we're seeing from CHEO, that we're seeing from Ottawa Public Health. Think about people around you. I bet you probably know someone who's taken, a parent who's probably taken some extended sick leave or mental health leave, or even left the workplace entirely. And these school closures disproportionately affect women in our community as well. And there are more things that I think the government, all levels of government, could be doing. For example, the rapid testing, it's great to see the extended availability in our community, but are we making sure that we have supplies of those, adequate supplies for use at schools? I know students are getting some to use over the break, but what about in January? Are we prioritizing availability of those tests for students and for teachers? That's super important. Sick leave, there's still big gaps in sick leave and the ability for parents to take time off. If you think about this, if there's a school closure in January, potentially, a lot of parents will be burning through the vacation leave that they have, the sick leave that they have, with still an entire year ahead of them. So that's causing a lot of anxiety. And of course, want to make sure too, there's a rush on now for appointments for boosters, third boosters, making sure that we have enough availability of appointments for young people, for kids who still have not had their first dose is incredibly important. There's a slogan, a motto that we've heard a lot through this pandemic: schools should be the last to close and the first to open. It's a great slogan, a great objective, but unfortunately we haven't always seen the policies or the action at the provincial level to make sure that that happens. So schools are incredibly important. I'd love to hear from parents in our community. How could we do as a city, how could the government, provincial, federal, municipal, what could we do to better support you and your family during this stage of the COVID-19 pandemic? Please get in touch with me. I think that's all I wanted to mention on COVID. I've got a few more citywide things and then some local updates for you. One is on LRT. A lot happened over the last 24 hours or so. The provincial government has introduced or announced details about how their inquiry into LRT is going to work. There's going to be a Ottawa Light Rail Transit Commission starting in the new year, with the delivery date sometime between August and November for their findings. And their objective is to look at stage one, the procurement, the construction, and the overall operations and oversight as the scope of that inquiry. So we'll see what that comes up with. We received an update this week on service since the relaunch. We've been 7 weeks now with very good service, about 99.1% uptime, which is excellent, and in fact better than just about any transit system. 99% uptime for a transit system is a very strong number, so that's encouraging, and I hope that can continue. We have free transit that's continuing until the end of December, so if you've ever wanted to try out the train or try out the bus or use an alternate form of transportation to run some of your errands, great time to try it out. I was on the bus and the train again this week and had an excellent commute to and from downtown, including in the middle of the day, which can be sometimes iffy in terms of making connections, but I had a really good travel time and connection. And three more things on OC Transpo. We got an update yesterday. We're escalating our legal action against RTG as a result of the ongoing technical issues. So there's some information about that you can find in the media. And OC Transpo winter service begins on Sunday, so be aware of some schedule changes. And finally, if you live in the Fernbank area, Bradley Commons, Abbotsville Crossing, Blackstone, Fernbank Crossing, Westwood, please make sure you take our OC Transpo survey about improving service in the Fernbank area. That's on my website, glengower.ca/Fernbank. And thanks to everyone who's already filled out that survey. Some more updates, local updates. Thanks to everyone who came out to our meeting on 360 Bobolink. It's a development application for an area in Fernbank that was intended to develop as mixed use, a mix of homes and retail. And really disappointing to see that this builder so far is not including a significant amount of retail in this part of the community. This community, if we could get a local grocery store, local pharmacy, local coffee shop, with that kind of development, we could drastically improve the walkability of the Fernbank community. So I'm continuing to push hard on the developer to make some updates to their plan to include commercial, local retail alongside their apartment and residential proposal. So thanks to residents who came out and shared their views on Wednesday evening about that one. Over on Rosehill, if you live near Rosehill and Santolina, or you've walked by there recently, there's a big empty field that's had a big pile of construction debris for a long time. Mattamy was in there this week to clean that up. They had some dump trucks taking all that fill and debris and construction garbage away. It's the site of a future school site. However, the school board still has not announced any plans or any kind of funding available to build that, but at least that pile of garbage and debris is away. It makes it for a much safer site, but please stay off of that property. It is private property. I want to remind folks to slow down when you're out and about in the community. We're still getting a lot of inquiries coming in, a lot of concerns coming in about speed. If you see really egregious speeding or people skipping stop signs, please make a report to police, ottawapolice.ca/report. They use that to try to pinpoint where the problem spots are in our community, and then they'll send out some of their extra enforcement teams above and beyond the work that police do when they're on the regular patrol. And if you haven't already, please watch my video about the 2022 city budget. I've shared some updates about what's in it for the Stittsville community, and also how the city's making some pretty major investments to address some of the health and social issues that we're seeing in our community that have been exacerbated by the pandemic. And City of Ottawa is delivering a balanced budget despite these really challenging times and the massive pivot in operations the city's had to do throughout the pandemic. A few local things happening today. Jameel over at Hazeldean and John Woods is doing a turkey giveaway. If you are someone who he wants to help people out who might be struggling financially, if your family could use a free turkey for the holidays, head over there at noon. Jameel has, I believe, 100 turkeys to give away. So thank you, Jameel, for your generosity. No questions asked. Just show up. If you need a turkey, it's yours. And then there's a bottle drive today at the Stittsville Lions on Stittsville Main Street. They're raising money for diabetes research and diabetes support. So thank you to the Lions for all of the work that you do in our community. As I mentioned, this is going to be my last update here for a couple of weeks. I hope you and your family enjoy a great Christmas, happy holidays, joyeux Noël et joyeuses fêtes. I will see you in the new year. And remember, over the break, my team, we're going to have some reduced office hours. We're going to close our office between Christmas and New Year's. If you do have an urgent inquiry, something that you need help with, please call 311. That's the city's call center. 311 is staffed 24/7 with people who can help you out. So I hope you have a great break and a great holiday, and I will talk to you in 2022. Take care.